In the heart of a quaint small town, a renowned dollmaker worked his magic, creating lifelike dolls that held an uncanny resemblance to the town's people. This dollmaker, a master of his craft, had a gift. He could capture not just the physical features, but the very essence of the people he observed. Each of his creations was unique, as if possessing a soul of its own. The townsfolk admired his work, and his dolls were cherished keepsakes, displayed proudly in homes throughout the town. His dolls were more than mere toys, they were works of art. From the old mayor with his bushy eyebrows and stern gaze, to the young baker's daughter with her rosy cheeks and a smile that could light up a room, each doll was a mirror image of its living counterpart. The craftsmanship was so exquisite, so precise, it was as if the dolls could spring to life at any moment. But as time wore on, the dollmaker's creations began to take on a more mysterious allure. Whispers spread through the town, whispers of dolls blinking, moving, even whispering back. The laughter of children playing with their dolls was replaced by hushed tones and fearful glances. The once cherished keepsakes turned into objects of dread. It began subtly, a doll found in a different place from where it was left. A soft giggle heard in the dead of night. A cold, glassy stare that seemed to follow you around the room. But soon, the strange occurrences escalated. Doll owners woke up with scratches, heard eerie voices, saw objects moving on their own. The whole town was gripped in fear, and at the center of it all were the dollmaker's creations. The dollmaker, once a revered figure, was now a subject of suspicion. But he remained oblivious to the growing panic, lost in his world of creation, crafting more dolls, each more lifelike than the last. Yet, beneath the beauty of these dolls, a sinister secret was about to unravel. As the moon took its throne in the night sky, the dolls, they say, came alive. It was not a child's play, but a ghastly spectacle that unfolded each nightfall. The people of the town, once charmed by the dollmaker's artistry, now trembled at the sight of their own porcelain miniatures. In the dead of night, the dolls danced with a life of their own. Their glassy eyes flickered with an eerie glow. Their petite limbs moved with a purpose. They were no longer just lifelike figures, but entities possessed by a force so malevolent, it sent shivers down the spine of the bravest. Homes that once echoed with laughter and joy were now filled with an ominous silence, broken only by the soft, chilling whispers of the dolls. The owners of these dolls found themselves trapped in a vortex of terrifying events. Objects moved on their own accord, doors creaked open at odd hours, and disturbing nightmares plagued their sleep. The dolls were not just haunting their owners, but they were driving them towards the brink of insanity. And with each passing day, the terror escalated. The dolls, they said, were not just alive, but they seemed to be driven by a vengeance so fierce, it was almost palpable. Whispers of a tragedy from the past began to surface, a painful episode that had been carefully buried under the layers of time. The dolls, it appeared, were not just mere playthings, but carriers of a curse that had its roots in a tale of heartbreak and betrayal. The faces of the dolls, so eerily similar to the people of the town, now seemed to mirror their fear and despair. They had become the embodiment of a terrifying reality that was far beyond their comprehension. A chilling curse had befallen the town, and the only way to lift it lay buried within the dollmaker's secrets. The people understood that their only hope was to unravel the mystery that hovered over their lives like a dark cloud. But were they ready to face the truth that lay hidden in the heart of the curse? To lift the curse, the townspeople had to venture into the past, into a story marred by tragedy. The dollmaker, who we've come to know as the creator of these lifelike figures, wasn't always so. In his youth, he was a mere carpenter, crafting furniture with grace and precision. But his life took a tragic turn one fateful night, a night that would forever change the course of his existence. His beloved wife and their only child were taken from him, victims of a fire that consumed their home. The dollmaker was left with nothing but ashes and sorrow. The grief was so profound that he retreated from the world, isolating himself in his workshop. It was there, in the solitude of his despair, that he began to create dolls. But these were not ordinary dolls. They were replicas of his lost family, crafted with such detail that they bore an uncanny resemblance to his wife and child. He poured his heart into these dolls, hoping to fill the void left by their demise. As the years passed, this obsession grew. He began to create dolls in the likeness of the townspeople, unable to let go of his past. He believed that by doing so, he could keep his loved ones alive, at least in spirit. But the townspeople didn't see it that way. They saw an eerie resemblance to themselves in the dolls, a resemblance that chilled them to their core. Fearing the worst, they shunned the Dollmaker, casting him out as a pariah. In his loneliness and despair, the Dollmaker made a pact with a malevolent force. He asked it to breathe life into his creations every night so he wouldn't have to be alone. In return, he would let the force use the dolls as vessels to seek revenge on the townsfolk who had ostracized him. The Dollmaker's past was now laid bare, and with it, the key to breaking the curse. With the Dollmaker's dark secrets now in the open, the townspeople had a challenging task ahead. The air was thick with anticipation as they gathered, their hearts pounding with a mix of fear and determination. The revelation of the Dollmaker's twisted past had sent a shiver down their spines, but they knew there was no turning back. The curse had to be broken. First, they had to assemble all the dolls, each one a chilling mirror image of its human counterpart. The dolls seemed to sneer, their glassy eyes gleaming with an eerie light, as if they knew the fate that awaited them. The townsfolk couldn't shake off the feeling that the dolls were watching, listening, waiting. Next, they sought the guidance of an elderly woman, the last surviving member of a line of local healers known for their knowledge of the supernatural. She was their only hope, their beacon in the dark. The woman, frail yet resolute, instructed them to return the dolls to the very place they were born, the Dollmaker's abandoned workshop. The journey to the workshop was a test of courage. The moon hung low in the sky, casting long, menacing shadows. The workshop, now a dilapidated ruin, stood ominously at the edge of the town, a grim reminder of the horror it had unleashed. Once inside, they placed the dolls around the room, forming a circle. The old woman began to chant, her voice echoing through the silence. An icy wind swept through the workshop, the dolls' faces contorting in what seemed like agony. The air crackled with energy, the curse fighting back, but the townsfolk held their ground. Finally, as the first rays of dawn pierced the darkness, the wind died down. The dolls lay motionless, their once menacing eyes now dull and lifeless. The curse had been lifted. The town was free. In the face of darkness, the townspeople stood united, their resolve stronger than any curse. As dawn broke, the town held its breath, waiting to see if they had conquered the curse. The air tingled with a silent hope, a hope that the nightmare of the past few weeks was finally over. The townsfolk had uncovered the Dollmaker's dark secrets, the tragedy that had driven him to curse the dolls, to make them come alive with a vengeance. The Dollmaker, once a respected figure, had become a symbol of fear and dread. His tragic past had affected not just him, but the entire town. However, in their pursuit of truth, the townsfolk had not only uncovered his secrets, but also found a way to break the curse. The town was quiet, the eerie silence of the night replaced by the tranquil serenity of the morning. The dolls, once feared, were now just dolls again. There was no movement, no eerie whispers in the night, just the lifelike dolls with their uncanny resemblance to the townsfolk. The relief was palpable. People emerged from their homes, their faces showing a mixture of relief, exhaustion, and a hint of disbelief. They had survived the curse. The dark history of their town was now in the past. The dolls, once a symbol of terror, were now a symbol of their resilience, their victory over the curse. The Dollmaker's story concluded in a way he could never have anticipated. His dark secrets, once the cause of so much terror, had brought the town together. And so the Dollmaker's curse was lifted, his dark secret serving as a haunting reminder of the past. In the end, the dolls were but silent witnesses to a tale of tragedy and redemption. The town had survived, and in the process had found a new strength, a new unity. They had faced the curse and emerged victorious, the dolls serving as a constant reminder of their shared history, their shared victory.